Hello, welcome to another edition of Athletes Corner Championship Edition. And we got the 2025 flag champs, St. Mary's Lady Spartans. Welcome, ladies, to the studio. I know some of y'all, this is our second time, but welcome back and welcome to the new ones.
Thank you.
Coach Terrell, how you doing?
Good, thank you.
And they brought me gifts too. Nobody ever brings me gifts, but they got me gifts, a hat, this. So we got a lot to talk about in this next 15, 20 minutes. But first, talk about the season. This is year 3 of the flag football season, which is not a MIAA sanctioned sport yet. It will be soon, but not yet. But your ladies have 2 out of 3 out of this one, right? First, how you feeling?
No, I'm feeling great, feeling good. I'm still smiling, so still enjoying that state championship win.
Yeah, definitely. It was a great time over there at Boston College. What was it, 8 teams that were there?
Yeah.
That played, right? It was like quarterfinals and semifinals.
Yeah, like Elite 8.
Right. Elite 8, right? Just this whole season, what was it like for you? Just overall, when you look back at the entire season?
Kind of reflecting back on the season, I knew that we would make a strong effort to get back to the playoffs for certainty, and then make a push at another championship. It was just at that point was aligning some of the new players, new pieces, trying to expand our playbook a little bit and kind of take it to the next level. But we anticipated on being where we ended up.
And back then, this is your second year coaching.
My third year.
Third year as coach, right? What did you see it from year one, just when this idea just came about and putting it together? Because now we're seeing an increase each year, especially this year. There was a major increase throughout the state with a lot of schools.
I think, from year one to where we are now, I think we just really started with a great core young group. Though, at the time most of the players were middle school players, I can certainly stand on saying that, we have the best young quarterback on this part of the country. And so starting from, Sophia being young in middle school that first year, right, we already were kind of a step ahead a little bit. It was a lot of unforeseen being the first year and not really knowing, how well other teams would be and how we'd match up. But
right,
considering a great core nucleus with some experienced players, especially at that position, we felt good, and I think to add with my experience in coaching, along with some experienced players, the trajectory for success, was inevitable.
Right, year one is sort of like a pilot. Let's see how this goes. Let's see how it works. And being able to get to Gillette Stadium, having the games at Gillette Stadium, championship games at Gillette Stadium, right? Get that experience. But when you saw it throughout, when it's starting off small, now growing, just those small schools, the few schools that were in it, what was the kind of discussions you had with some of those other coaches, and in part to try to grow it and make this even bigger the years to come?
I think the message kind of across the board amongst just fellow coaches is, how do we get the sport to grow? How do we get it recognized? How did, you as a team develop your players so good to people to recognize that your team is that good? How do we catch up? But in terms of the growth of the sport, I really truly believe for some people, you don't believe it until you see it. Mm-hmm. And so it really took for a lot of people to kind of within their own school communities, their own athletic departments, to kind of get that visibility to the sport, to their schools, their communities, and for people to actually come out and see. Mm-hmm. Because if I had to be honest, I don't know how much faith there was in, women's flag football, in our state for high school until you were able to see a team like ours perform the way that they do.
Right. Who came up with the idea of putting it together? Do you know?
So I gotta give a lot of credit to, if I had to be honest, to Jeff Newhall. Sherelle Saunders was also a really big advocate for the sport in the first year, and the whole St. Mary's school administration, just on giving a chance to a new sport. We only had a small group of girls that really showed interest, and then myself as a coach, and so I certainly give all the credit to how this really kicked off, is them really just giving a chance on something that they they really didn't know a lot about, and trusting myself and early on Sherelle and really taking a chance on, what could the possibilities be and how this sport can develop within the St. Mary's community.
Right now, from your years of coaching, the 3 years coaching, like how many girls that came on the team where that was their first time playing some type of organized football?
If I had to say, more than half. More than half the personnel were first-year players to flag football. And so it was really interesting to see, though the core group of experienced players being young, and we're saying 6th, 7th, and 8th grade middle school kids, really kind of embracing an opportunity to kind of, in some ways, show a lot of leadership qualities to have some of the newer players kind of catch up. And don't get me wrong, we've had some players that have had a lot of success in other sports and what might be their primary sports. But, once these young girls could, learn the rules and learn how to move their body like football per se, and then also with the support and guidance from their teammates, though younger are experienced, it was only, a matter of time before skills are developed and polished.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we didn't even get to introduce the ladies yet, so we're going to introduce the ladies before we start asking them questions, starting with Kaylee and then moving on down. Say your first, last name, and what grade you're in.
I'm Kaylee Patterson, and I'm in 8th grade.
I'm Alenia Cheveria, and I'm in 9th grade.
I'm Janae Holmes. I'm in 9th grade.
I'm Sophia Laffentant, and I'm in 10th grade.
I'm Deirdre McCarron. I'm a graduated senior.
I'm Millie Morrison, and I'm in 11th grade.
I'm Yolanda Rendeco, and I'm a senior.
All right, ladies. First, this could be for everybody. What got you into the game? What made you decide to play or participate in flag football? I see, put the mic right down there. Yes. Y'all can answer.
Okay, what really got me into the sport is when I was younger, I played with boys mostly, so I think I got into like 3rd grade and all the boys started playing like football at recess, but out of school they were playing tackle football, and I was like smaller, I'm a girl, so I didn't really want to do that, so I joined Girls Flag Football League.
Fair enough.
Anybody else?
Fair enough. Anybody else want to answer?
You can go.
If not, I got another question. But so, how was the season in totality when you look back at everything the team accomplished this season?
The season was really good. It was really exciting. It was really meaningful. There's a lot of memories. Yeah.
I think when we played in our league, we didn't have like a lot of like tough competition. But as we got to like Gillette, we started playing those harder teams, and I'm glad that we still played as we played all season.
I think we had a lot of team chemistry, team bonding. There was some downs, but like I feel like we all played as a team and managed to win.
This season was just memorable. Winning was nice, but I think like we had good team chemistry even though we didn't hang out like a lot outside of this. When we got into the field, we always like supported each other through mistakes, and we knew how to celebrate after like one of us did good.
I think it was a really exciting and memorable season, getting to be on such a skilled young team. It was just amazing, and then getting to play at BC at the end of the year, it was great.
This year, I feel like it was like we knew how to like separate like fun from like the serious stuff. Like we could take things very serious, but at the end of the day, like we're still like having fun through it all with each other because like we all enjoy playing this sport together.
This was actually my first year playing flag football, and it was like super interesting to see like really young girls, as I'm like a senior now, to like see them like go through the whole like season, because I'm like currently just trying to learn from them, and learning from them has been like a really great process, because like I see how they also like pick each other up from the mistakes they make, which is like super important like in a team as well, like other than just playing football itself.
Yeah, what drew you, or what made you decide to play this year?
Well, I actually used to play a little bit of football with Kaylee at our old school, like literally 3rd grade. And then I went to St. Mary's, and one of my friends was playing, and I was like, oh, I should totally join. Like I wasn't doing anything in the spring, and I had known I had just played before, but it was never really an opportunity for like women to do that. Mm-hmm. So when I saw that, I just thought it was like I had to like get my hands on it. Like it looked really fun.
Definitely. Coach, what's kind of the difference playing at Gillette and then playing at Boston College? You know, Grant Gillette, a lot bigger stadium, BC, the college stadium, right? What was kind of, if there's any?
I think the difference is, right, you have the spectacle of Gillette Stadium, you have, the history of Gillette and the Patriots winning tradition and Tom Brady and being on the same field as all these, NFL pros that you've learned to watch and root for as your home team. And so all the glitz, glamour, and sparkle of Gillette was great. I actually appreciate the convenience of Boston College being a little bit closer than driving to Gillette, and I think that impacted a little bit of the fan base. I thought it was more accessible for a lot of fans to attend and to attend the game. And BC is also a very nice venue.
Right.
And so, again, one of the most historic college stadiums within the country that also holds a lot of tradition locally within our state. So I didn't see it as any, second-class option from Gillette at all.
Right. How was it as one of the ladies said, like the competition-wise, league-wise, it wasn't, you guys were running through it, but then you get into the playoffs, that's when you gotta, turn it up a notch, right? How were they able just to not let the complacency kick in because, they seen they're scoring 30, 40 points easily, and now you get into playoffs? Because it could just like human nature, that could kind of kick in like, all right, we can score when we want to.
Right. I think that was honestly, that's always one of my biggest concerns in the regular season. With a lot of newer schools and newer players, there is some catching up to do in terms of where we are. But, we certainly, present ourselves with class, irregardless of the score or how much we score. It's really about the growth and development and the sisterhood that's built, even though that, it's other high schools and other teams. But if there's one thing that I hammered as a message as we practice, that, at some point we are going to face some adversity. At some point we are going to face a team that's going to be competitive. And so we can't let, what this early success and consistent regular season success really get to us, and be prepared for when we're tested and challenged. And we knew that time would come playoffs. So we prepared ourselves. And I think the other thing too is a number of our girls do participate on other club and travel teams and have played competitive 5-on-5 flag football on some really big national stages. So I think in combination of us kind of being humble but yet being prepared, in addition to some of the other experiences our players have had in other forums, we were ready come playoffs when it would be more competitive.
Yeah, all right. Sophia, you got the MVP. The hardware is just piling up this year for you. I mean, basketball, now this. You too, Janae. Just how overall this school year, athletic-wise, been for you with the hardware that you guys gotten?
For me, it's been really good. Like at times, practice was stressful, but I don't think I ever had any practices where I was done. Everything paid off in the end, and I'm really happy with it.
Same with me. Just hard work, honestly. I think me and Sophia also whether it's off the field or off the court, we also had a really good chemistry together. Mm-hmm. And she's actually the one who told me to play flag along with Eleni. And so I just tried it, and it was just fun.
What, you got 4 touchdowns at championship? You got 4 touchdowns that day at Gillette. Some deep passes, right? Yeah. Offensively, how are you feeling out there? You got the first touchdown of the day, right?
Honestly, I don't even know. I think it's just having faith in your teammates and especially quarterback. Catching those passes, I mean, I don't know, it just felt good.
Janae is an incredible athlete, and I think it's known her abilities on the basketball court. I was really excited to see her come out to tryouts and to see some of her teammates encouraging her to give it a try. It was only a matter of time through practice and being with her friends and teammates that also play that she would pick the sport up relatively quickly. So, she, again, as a basketball player, could very much be a 2-sport athlete. And, again, I do very plugged into the flag football world, even beyond high school. And,
Right.
she is someone that if those were her wishes or choices, could have opportunities beyond high school. So we're great to have Janae, and I hope she keeps playing.
Kaylee, for you, you've been on the flag football scene heavy, getting a lot of attention. The spotlight's on you, right? For you, what's it like just at a young age getting all the attention you've been getting from flag?
I really like it. I'm excited that the sport of flag football for girls is expanding and still growing. So there's a lot to come for all the younger girls that want to play and that are playing. So it's really good, and that they can get somewhere with playing the sport.
Yeah, how are you just taking it all in? Because some of the attention, it's a lot for someone your age, right? How are you just taking it all in and just going with the flow and not letting it affect how you do as far as like practice wise, school wise, socially as well?
I just have to balance it with all the other things and keep my eye on like the goal and like where I want to get in life with this sport. And it's like a reminder to me that like I'm doing all these things for a purpose.
Right. What was it like? How's it been like playing flag football? And then what drew you to flag football too?
What drew me to flag football? I used to play like rec league at like 3.5 years old, really young, co-ed with boys. And I really started to like it, so I kept playing, but I got into it with girls, and that's just been my thing ever since. And playing girls flag football is like my favorite thing.
Yeah, definitely. Ladies, how the sport is growing, right? We're seeing, we saw it at BC's. A lot of schools that had a lot of players on their roster, right? And now I'm pretty sure next year there's going to be more school interested in participating. But for you ladies, as kind of the cornerstone for this, the foundation. How good is it to see that other schools are now getting along and getting on the flag football wave?
It's good to see because when I joined flag football, it definitely wasn't as big. And then when I was in 6th grade is when they brought high school flag. So I've played for these past 3 years, and it's really good to see it get big.
It's really good to see it get into other schools because, it's good for a bunch of new girls from our school to join, but even more girls from even different schools. And I have some friends that didn't get to play. They didn't have it at their school, but they ended up playing with schools that were near them because maybe schools that they were going to next year or schools that were in their area because they just wanted to play so much and try out the sport. So it's growing even if you have it at your school or not.
Right. Coach, now that people are taking notice of it, what do you hope, as of the MIAA, when do you hope they kind of come in and, make this a sanctioned sport for all schools? Because, especially in Lynn, there's so many kids at all the schools. I mean, we could feel that each school could field a team
100%
with all the kids they have, right? So, do you hope the MIAA sees from this and get along? Because, it is kind of like the next thing because flag in general, there's a lot of flag competitions, a lot of 7-on-7s, and it helps a lot of players too with their college recruiting and stuff like that.
No, for sure. I mean, the hopes and goals is the next turnaround for voting that the MIAA, that this passes vote. In 3 years, there's been a proven track record of growth in doubling and tripling the number of schools that are interested. And so, again, what the sport of flag football has done for the schools that have participated is now created, not only an opportunity for a new emerging athletic sport for, the student body to participate in, but also it's giving them a path to participate in a sport that it's no longer kind of just for fun.
Right.
You have a number of universities and junior colleges that do offer scholarships. The National Junior College Association are on board, and they provide financial opportunities and support for women's flag. The NAIA, which has been a first, which I believe they're in year 5, all 16 schools involved offer scholarships for women's flag, and you now have Division 3 and 2 schools that are offering full scholarships that are projected to start their seasons 2026 and 2027. So it's only a matter of time, and what I think might be in the next 3 to 5 years, that it will be a major NCAA sport, again, providing an opportunity for girls to, have post, high school education, playing a sport that they've learned to grow and love. So I think it's really important that the MIAA kind of catches notice where the rest of the country has.
Right. Leslie, talk about the game against Leominster. This is, these are two teams that have played in the championship game since it started. Right? They won the first. They won the first year, right?
Right. Yeah, they won the first year, and it was kind of we had our opportunities on a last play drive and just fell a little bit short. Leominster is a great program. First and foremost, I think that that was where the bar really was just to start. Leominster also participates in the travel flag world, and so a lot of their players participate in some very national competitive 5-on-5 flag tournament circuits for women. And so I knew coming into the season that they would kind of be the favorite team across the state, and though we had some experienced players, we were really young. And so I knew though that with some good commitment and practice, in addition to a few players, that we can certainly kind of live up to where they were. But after losing year one, we were determined that we were gonna if we get another shot there, that we were gonna seize that opportunity. And so that's usually our focus. Day one of practice is we're gearing up to beat Leominster.
Yeah, they came out the gate too. They scored the first touchdown of the game on that after getting the stop.
Yeah.
But it was a pretty. It literally came down to the final possession, right? Ladies, what was that final possession like when you needed to score to put the game away? Because it was only 14-13 at that point throughout the second half, right? So how were you able just to get that final possession, and also that big interception by Juliana too that stopped their drive?
I feel like we were very calm going into the drive. We had watched film on Leominster the week before, and also we had practices specifically knowing what they run on defense to even their offense. So I think obviously you can never know what a team is doing, but I think we knew as much as we could, and also all our practicing throughout the season, we were prepared for it, and so it was just a calm moment. It was honestly just like a drive against any other team we had played all season.
Right. Now, for everybody, how did y'all feel after the final buzzer horn went off and you ladies are crowned champions again?
I was so nervous the entire last game. I was shaking, and then when it finally ended, I was like, "Thank God, this is over."
It was honestly, a big feeling of relief, because the whole time it was I was on my toes the whole game, but the second that we all got together and started celebrating, it just reminded me what we do this for. We do this as a team, and just in the end we're showing that our team does this all together, and it's not just for one person, it's all of us together.
It really showed that the practices paid off, and that final moment on the edge of our seats was a perfect aha moment.
Yeah, if I calling back, I was kind of thinking, here we go again, because the year before we won on a last catch, by Kaylee, and we're looking at where we were now at this point in this very last championship, and looking at another game-winning drive. So I think we've been there before, we've seen it. I certainly want to commend the players on the field, though young, but they show a lot of resiliency and leadership. I was hearing a lot of all right, guys, let's just calm down. Let's just take care of this drive. And you're hearing these things, from, really young players that really present on the field with a lot of maturity. And so as much as I try to show that I'm, not nervous, we have things under control, and I'm sitting here, right, here we go again. And these girls were ready and convinced, we're scoring on this drive and we're going to put this game away. And it's great as a coach to kind of step back and just call plays, and then just kind of watch Sophia lead an offense and watch the team kind of just respond.
How many of y'all were on the team last year that won it? So going back to back, how's the feeling going back to back?
Back to back, it feels really good. It's great. It feels that we are that team and that we could beat anyone who we go up against.
I think it's great because last year we won on the last play, and the whole a lot of the people around were they were just lucky. So we go winning back to back, especially against the same team. It just shows that we were that team.
Yeah, just what Lenny said, like proving that we could do it again, but also proving that we didn't take the season off just because we won,
Right.
just because people thought our league was easy. People say that a lot. Like we still won, like no matter, like even though our practices might have not been like that hard going against certain teams, like we were focused the whole season.
Hey.
Anybody over here?
I think it was great because it really puts an emphasis on how talented the St. Mary's team is, and that just creates like a monolith of a team that like increases the popularity of flag football as a whole, because then you have this team everyone wants to beat, and that creates more energy around the sport.
Right. Do you think, Coach, also, you won 2 out of the 3, right? Do you think it's going into next year, participation-wise, that you're anticipating seeing a lot more girls trying to get on the team and trying to be part of the team?
Yeah, I hope so. I think it's still, as much as we've had success and we have a lot of support from the St. Mary's community, I think there still are some girls that are apprehensive to give it a try because it's so new to them. And then you do have your other spring sports that, girls are accustomed to and traditionally play. But we're hoping that, through these experiences and the great memories that are being created this early on, that, that there will, spark some more interest. I would love for us to get to a point where we do have the bandwidth to have, a varsity and a JV team and have opportunities for 2 rosters and many girls to have opportunities to play full seasons. So I'm hoping that is, the trajectory of where the sport grows, just in terms for our own school.
All right. And then lastly, I only got a couple minutes left. As a coach and as a parent, you're seeing your child get all this attention, getting an offer. Right. First, as a head coach, what goes through your mind, and then as a parent, what goes through your mind? You're seeing all these accolades coming at such a young age.
As a head coach, I think the one thing I'm able to do is kind of balance my role as a parent and then also as a coach. So I don't coach my kid no different than any other player. So in terms of any success from a team perspective, none of her success comes without the rest of the girls that are on this panel as a team effort. And things make things a lot easier for her and her role as a receiver, when you have one of the best that's getting you the ball and can identify, where to put the ball and you being open and making plays. So I just appreciate us collectively as a team in terms of the individual accolades for all of our girls. It really comes from a team effort. None of these girls would really share the success that they're having in some individually if it wasn't for, our mentality of a team first concept. And again, I can't speak enough about young leaders, and they're put in position at a young age to really command a team and reach goals at a young age. And for me, if I have to tip my hats off to the quarterback of where, she is the general, on the field, and has a world of opportunities and offers herself and will have a bright future beyond St. Mary. So I'm just glad if you got to watch a lot of the other games, that is the key position that will move your team. And so I'm just fortunate to have one of the best with, a complementary of players on both sides of the ball. But as a parent, if I had to be honest, you're kind of living a dream, right? Like, you get to coach your kid, and, last year to watch your kid make a game-winning state championship catch as a 6th grader, usually you're talking about something about that when you're a junior or a senior, and hey, my kid caught the game-winning catch in state championship. And so to say that I got to be a part of that and coach that and be a part of that, at such a young age, it's like you're living a dream. And then to kind of back to back the following year and have a game-winning, touchdown in a game, you're, as a parent, you live in a dream. You're excited, but you also, again, because these ladies are so young, I just try to keep them, let's enjoy the moment, right? But there is still a lot of work that we can do. There's still always opportunities for improvement in all facets of our game. So we're still enjoying this last, but I can already tell you the wheels already start turning of what can we do better for next year? How can we be better for next year? So I just appreciate their work ethic, their love for the game, introducing new girls and kind of being that voice in the school. And I only expect us to be at the top as we continue to go down the road.
Right, and you got youth football in the fall, coaching.
No, so I do coach some travel. No,
Okay.
I don't coach any tackle anymore. I coached high school tackle and some times, but now I do coach a young travel team. That Kaylee participates, and these young girls participate in some of the teams, and so it's kind of flag football all year round.
Yeah.
But it really resembles almost like basketball or almost like baseball, any other sport. You have your AAU version of the sport, and you got your high school.
Right.
And so I kind of coach travel, and it's great that a lot of these girls participate in that, and that only just adds to your toolbox to gear up for high school.
All right, definitely. All right, before we get out of here, ladies, plug in your social medias and all that good stuff.
Instagram? Yes, ma'am.
Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all of them, whichever one you want to plug in.
Instagram, Kaylee.Patterson, all lowercase.
On Instagram, Eleni.May7.
On Instagram, Janae's interlude _
Soph.lafo on Instagram.
Deirdre.mccarron6 on Instagram.
Mine is Mill1IEE on Instagram.
Mine is Yolanda with 5 O's and then 2 A's at the end.
5 O's and 2.
All right.
Plug this down the team social media as well.
SMH Flag Football on Instagram. My Instagram, Touchdown TP.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the 2025 Flag State Championship, St. Mary's Lady Spartans. Make sure you follow them, Instagram, all that good stuff. Go check them out next year when they try to three-peat. Three-peat is the goal. Athletes Corner, we out of here, folks. And I got gifts.
Thank you for having us.
Hey, thank you for coming. Appreciate it.